What's going on, everybody? Little late night rant. I'm over here at the university out here in Tarleton, where they actually have fast internet. So I figured I'd come on, talk about a couple of things, take some questions, hit the like button, hit the share button. I'm gonna go ahead. There's puppy hair on my microphone. Answer some questions for you this evening. See what you got going on. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about Elon Musk. I'm going to go through this Wapo Washington Post article. I mean, all the media is trying to find a way to make everything that Elon is doing look bad. So I think it's hilarious that a paper that was a beacon of free speech was bought by Jeff Bezos. People celebrate it, and now it's clear that they just don't want somebody else to have that kind of power like Elon Musk. So I think it's interesting. Elon also today, if you don't know, he actually got the money together. It's not a bluff. He was able to do the full filing and show that he actually had the assets and the liquid capital in order to make the buy happen, which therefore puts the board in a very difficult position. They thought that maybe they could call his bluff, and they failed. Why is there so much fur here? Go ahead and leave a comment so I know where you guys are from. Let me know who's watching. Let me know who's around. Got a bunch of people on Facebook, a few people on the YouTubes. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the share if you can. Do it. Do it. All right. So let's talk. I also went to the Joe Rogan concert, by the way, last night out here at Concert Comedy Show. He had Tony from the Kill Tony show. Brilliant comedians across the board. And tonight I'm going to be answering some questions. Please, if you've got some stuff that you want me to look up, I'm going to do this for about 25, 30 minutes and see what we got going on. I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan. I'm going to talk about just kind of the more I watch some of the stuff going on with this woke bull crap that just continues on. Loan forgiveness is another topic. Loan forgiveness is being voted on and being the court of public opinion right now. And also, I had a friend fly today. I know that the injunction has happened, or whatever you want to call it. She did not have to wear a mask on the plane. So I do believe that currently masking is still optional. I don't know when the DOJ change will make that happen. Vanessa, I'll start with your question. What do you got? Texas when we become an internet connection, so you're in and out. All right, I got Pittsburgh in the house. We got Midland, Texas. For anybody from Texas, just so you know, on April 30th, I will be in Fort Worth doing a show, Rico No Suave show. If you want to come meet me, first 10 people are going to be getting Let's Go Brandon hats. So I'm going to bring those with me. And then I'll be speaking again in San Antonio in mid-May 15th or so. I'll post about that as well for a veterans event. Looks like it's going to be a big deal. Hopefully you guys can join us for that too. I got Minnesota in the house. Vanessa, what's your question? What do we got? V-Train, what's the question? Waiting for it. What's going on, Vivian? Why? A lot of Texans. So last night, by the way, the Joe Rogan show, I go to order a drink, and the bartender sees me at an actual bar, not like the ones that are like at the whatever you want to call it. And she goes, "Oh, you're back." And I was like, "It's my first drink." And she goes, "Oh," because I was wearing my Unvied Lives Matter shirt. And she goes, "Oh, somebody else had the exact same shirt." So either somebody else has the same idea, or like the one of 30, maybe 25 people that bought the shirt and just happened to look like me. They said it was a bald guy. I mean, I'm balding, huge difference. He'll say somebody else had a very similar shirt, if not the same shirt. Also very exciting, very popular in the Joe Rogan crowd. I know that's shocking. Hit the thumbs up. That is right. Hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts. So with my kids on the 30th. My bad, Barbara. It'll be on Rico No Suave. It'll be online. It'll be live online as well. If you can't make it and you can't get the Let's Go Brandon hat. All right. So let's talk Wapo. I'm going to go through this article. Vanessa, do you think this is another way to start another issue of the mask thing? And yes, I'm going to shank you. You are getting hurt. Just kidding. I don't even think I say that. I can't even say that as a joke. I was making a joke. Definitely not going to shank you. John, I don't think you were. I think you phrased it in a difficult way. I know what you're talking about from the show, talking about, I can't remember, it was talking about I think the guy with the cop. I don't think it was, I think you just worded it in a way that could be triggering. It wasn't for me. I got the point. I know it's a joke, Vanessa. All right. So what was your question? Then I'm gonna get into the Wapo. Do you think it's just another way to start another issue? I'm curious, because here's the thing. Once you've given somebody freedom again, and if you take it away, I want out, because if they do start to go, well, sorry guys, false alarm, got to put them back on. Like how do people not start to realize that the jig is up, and like, will people finally do what they should have been doing from the first place and say, no, I'm not putting it back on. Like, I see it getting a little bit rough. We saw Mike Tyson get a little rough with some idiot on a plane earlier today, which was quite funny. All right. Been a while. We're on every Tuesday. I don't know. Nobody can see our stuff. Welcome to the algorithm of Facebook. By the way, day 100 and I think 40 now of my 90-day shadow ban, and it's still on the page. So I want to go in the Washington Post article. So Elon Musk's Twitter bid frustrates employees. So now that they have lost the court of public opinion, now they're going to talk about how bad it is to work for Tesla, and that Twitter employees, because now it's saying, but the paupers, the just everyday employees are now super stressed out. Meanwhile, they admit throughout this article, it's not you, it's me. Got it. They admit through this article that they don't believe in free speech. That's not what their culture is about. I mean, it's blatant at this point, but they're going to attack Musk. So inside the social media giants, employees say Musk's takeover proposal is problematic. That poses a liability for the billionaire. Trust me, he'll have plenty of people dying to work for Twitter that are on our side. As news of Elon Musk's hostile takeover, I love that they say it is considered a quote unquote hostile takeover. They want to make it seem like he is this big, bad monster. And yes, Kim, a lot of people are for Tesla and they love it. The thing about Tesla is they have some divisions that are a little hard, like the solar division. People don't love working for the solar division. It's like they're cracked their way into Tesla and they struggle. But there's a lot of people that, trust me, love the culture of Tesla, which might I add, for earnings, Netflix, super woke, struggled. Disney, struggling. Tesla, destroying their numbers in a good way. And that most people don't get notified either. Torino, sorry. In recent weeks, Musk has mocked Twitter on the social network. So as news of Elon Musk's hostile takeover bid spread throughout Twitter this week, employees expressed concern that their workplaces might suffer under the leadership of an incendiary tech mogul, as well as exhaustion over the company's uncertain future. Oh, these poor employees don't know what's going to happen. Trust me, the company's still going to be there tomorrow, no matter what. It's either going to be owned by Elon Musk, or there's going to be a bunch of board members facing litigation. One of the two. It's still going to be there. Oh, I don't know who my boss is. I don't know what to do. Oh, my gosh. We've become so fucking weak. Anyways, poor muffins. I like that. Whoever said that, Kim Rhoda. Let's see. In recent weeks, Musk has mocked Twitter. Oh my, he mocked. God, I feel sad. He mocked. The whole platform is based on mocking in 180 characters. Musk has mocked Twitter on the social network, reduced major company decisions to polls for his roughly 80 million followers. That's called FU money. When you're able to be like, do you guys think free speech needs to come back? Hit the thumbs up if you do. Oh, I'm going to buy it. And disrupted the company's focus week. Get this. This is great. He disrupted their focus week when it reduces unnecessary meetings to give employees time to concentrate on their projects, with news of his takeover on Thursday. By the way, if anybody has watched the Project Veritas video that just came out of them getting a guy to pretty much admit that everything they do is to make sure that some people like Project Veritas don't get to stay up on Twitter. He was bragging about their suspension. He's like, we're doing our job to just make sure that craziness is suppressed. Twitter employee. So they give employees time to concentrate on their project with news of this takeover on Thursday. That afternoon, Twitter chief executive Parag Agrawal, who is a complete human piece of excrement, held a company-wide meeting to reassure his workforce of 7,500 full-time employees by arguing that one man could not change culture and that it was up to the company to set strategy, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive matters. This is so sensitive. Our corporate culture could change drastically, where we continue to make sure anybody that has an opposing opinion has to be shut up. Have we ever actually heard or seen? So Vanessa, great question. There's a lot of things with Elon Musk. I think he's very indoctrinated into Chinese business. I don't think that's a stupid move. I think it's a smart move. It's just unfortunately not. It goes against the better wishes of the United States of America. That's unfortunate. But he also sees the fact that they're not a country that cares about pronouns. They're a country that cares about winning and getting things at the best price. He does also build a lot in the United States of America, so he supports across the board. The great move by Musk. So Musk, in terms of intelligence, to do what he has done, first off, he also supposedly is on somewhere on the spectrum. I guess you can't say Asperger's anymore, so it's a version of autism. He's socially awkward, but his humor is something new. That's an added element. He is also very, very brilliant. If you see him in interviews, go and watch a couple. He's too smart for his own good. But let's see. Let's see. The reputation Musk has built for himself is part through the trolling he engages on Twitter. Twitter is a platform that is trolling. Like, you can't. How much can you really leave in 180 characters? Twitter is known for its liberal. This is interesting. In Washington Post, Twitter is known for its liberal workforce and flexible work environment. Apparently not. You have 1 week a year where they cut down on meetings, but whatever. So, whatever they called this week. What did they call it? What's the name of this? Focus week. Focus week, because you have too many meetings. Let's see. It's emerging as a liability among social media employees. Twitter is known for its liberal workforce and flexible work environment. Musk, on the other hand, has appeared to mock gender pronouns and peddled coronavirus misinformation. I mean, I've seen some interviews with him talking about how people need to be healthier. Rogan's joke, oh my God, so great last night when he was talking about it. He goes, I was deathly afraid of COVID in March of 2020. I think we all were. We're all like, what's happening? I'm confused. What is this? What is going on? Like, is this a real thing? Are we going to die? And then Rogan made the joke of, then fast forward December 2021, and somebody says something. He said, yeah, but was he, was 80-year-old grandpa, was he fat? Like, at that point, for most of the intelligent human beings in this world, you start to question what the comorbidities were, because everything factually brought us to that. Although sad, the people that died, and I think all of us have probably had somebody that died of COVID around us, there is a few and far between case of the healthy individual. It did happen. It happened to a lot of us, but there is a rarity behind it. So I don't know. Maybe the misinformation is he just told people to be healthy. Wow, misinformation. And his company Tesla has been the target of multiple lawsuits for alleged racial discrimination and sexual harassment. Again, that does start at the top. I get it. But at the same time, you got to look around. It's the same thing they said about Trump and what happened in the 1980s in his housing things. It's not like Trump was going up to people being racist. Some of the people that were in those positions, he had to have lawsuits that he settled out of court because of racial discrimination in his housing, in his apartments, etc. That it's not like it was Trump. And also in the 1980s, anybody suing for stuff like that was ambulance chasers, because that was the era of affirmative action, and there was an opportunity for lawyers to make money, so they were suing for everything. For example, you've got Johnny Marbles, who, if you follow Sunni and some of the stuff on Instagram, you would see who Johnny Marbles is. He's a human being that has lived off of a racial discrimination suit. Just based on knowing him, I can tell you right now that he probably was not discriminated against. He probably didn't do his job correctly and used the race card. Just throwing that out there. Not that it happens all the time, but I could just tell by the conversations I have with him and his lack of complete competence. Sorry, he commented on my Twitter recently, so I figured I'd poke at him. I'm sure he's not watching. Let's see. Liberal workforce values. Twitter board is it weighs Musk or the company, the value of the company, $43 billion, would take it private. In addition to evaluating the financial details of Musk's bid, the board members will probably consider Musk's potential leadership chops as company grapples with his leadership chops. This is a man that is now worth more than 3 times the second richest person in the world, because what he has done with Tesla, SpaceX, and the multiple businesses that he owns. He owns that other one company, Boring Company, I believe it's a mining company. The guy really, and again, does Elon want Twitter to implement brain chipping? That's a different company. That's one of the companies he has. I get it. Not, as I said, I'm not a fan of everything that he does. I'm not. But if you're a free speech advocate and the platform is for free speech, I am going to embrace that. That's all. Let's see. Friday, Twitter mounted an aggressive defense against Musk's hostile takeover bid by adopting the poison pill. I've talked in depth about what that means. It'll force Musk to buy additional stock at a discounted price, floods the market, makes it difficult, makes it more expensive for him. The guy that, trust me, really doesn't care about what expensive is. On a different note, may I suggest Googling food? This is from John. Interesting topic. Yes, and this is an actual thing. You guys can look at that on your own. Got to be careful how I say about that one, but I can't tell you just in terms of the amount of chickens that are being killed for bird flu, this new bird flu that's going around in the chickens, like millions and millions, and we're going to see prices and costs go up very quickly. I asked a good friend of mine why Elon would seek more. He really wants to make a platform for all. I mean, it's an opportunity, and when he says it's not about money, I think Twitter is a great opportunity because it is a platform that is set up. It has a lot of users, and it is failing, so it's undervalued, and things can be changed to make it better. Like Truth Social, as cool of a great an idea it is, it's so difficult, so incredibly difficult to break through the clutter. So how do you break through the clutter? You're worth $300 billion. You buy a company that's already broken through the clutter but is failing. It's smart. Let's be honest. I hope not. That seems a little bit much. Let's see. Plan to make it difficult. Yada yada yada. Twitter's Agrawal, the CEO, he's new in December, ended up in the uncomfortable position of answering for employee criticism Musk at Thursday's all hands on deck meeting. He addressed a wide range of questions from Twitter workers about Musk's offer to buy the company, including how people of color are treated at his company Tesla and the billionaire's staunch support. This is the key word. Wait for it. He addressed a wide range of questions from Twitter's workers about Musk's offer to buy the company, including how people of color are treated at his company Tesla, which I think makes people see that without reading the next part, and the billionaire's staunch support for free speech on social media. So they're clearly deeming this. Washington Post and Twitter is deeming free speech on social media a bad thing. That is the key word. It's the key word. Others asked him for employee representation on the board and about what happened to Twitter employees' restricted stock units. The company was taken private. The people said, "Trust me, if it's all, the employees and the stock options will be taken care of." Period. I don't trust him in a lot of ways when it comes to things like brain chipping, but when it comes to free speech, I trust him more than the current Twitter situation and every other social media platform until he does something wrong. Because from a free speech perspective, he has been very, very open. He's dangerous because he's the most wealthy human being in history by far. But sometimes you have to actually give this a shot. I don't think him owning Twitter is going to end the world. I mean, if you see that as an avenue, I would love to understand that. I think Cheryl might be one of the people talking about the chickens directly to me and some of the things I can't remember. I've gotten private messages on it from a couple different people. Tucson, what woke Tucson? I'd love to. I need to do more speaking events all around and start doing this. Hopefully when Cash gets out, we've already talked about that plan and just moving around. What happened to agree to disagree? I'm fine with that. I don't know. Did I not agree to disagree? I don't know what I did. Yeah, I do think he's strange. I agree. I saw your comment earlier. I think he's strange. But I just, again, in terms of Twitter, I don't. What's the worst that can happen? Where our free speech is already destroyed at this point. That's it. So why not give somebody a shot? Like there's nothing that Twitter can embed in our brain yet. So Cash is getting out. His goal is hopefully beginning of the year. Beginning of next year is the goal. That's just what we've heard. And I forgot to throw this banner up. If you guys want to support us, go join. Not our Patreon. I mean, if you're a Patreon, that's great, but we're working a lot with Great American Syndicate. So hop on that bit.ly. All right. So back to what I was saying. So that's the most dangerous comment where they literally say they were having to tell their employees, I know he stands for free speech on social media. Crazy. Then there was an employee that said, moving my therapy appointment for an all hands on about a hostile takeover. It's peak 2022. We've become so soft. Like this is a generation of absolute machines. Even Jack Dorsey says the board is hot garbage, and Jack Dorsey is a scary individual. During a TED Talk Thursday in Vancouver, Musk said he would err on the side of free speech. Do I think that we want to be just very reluctant to delete things and be cautious with permanent bans? He said, adding that he would prefer timeouts. And you know that the right is going to go, oh my God, he gave a timeout to whatever. I think he just wants free speech in this area. That's my thought. Here we go. There's another one. Their Twitter employees struggled last week to support Musk involved. This is telling you their staff. The fact, if this is true, if this is a real investigative article by Wapo, and they really talked to a bunch of employees, not just 3 guys that are in the corner dressed in like black Antifa outfits with purple hair, but if they talk to enough people and that's what they got, that shows even worse. That shows how woke and how left wing the employees of Twitter are, and why we are in the place we are. Because the Facebook is the same, the Twitter is the same, the Instagram's the same. It's all the same cesspool of garbage. And then you've got TikTok that isn't even American. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Even before this takeover bid, some Twitter employees struggled last week to support Musk's involvement in the company because they said his values appeared to be in contradiction with the company, according to internal messages viewed by the by Washington Post. Several employees noted internal messages. So that means they can't even message each other without people seeing them. Got it. Sounds like a super free company. Well done, Twitter. The Washington Post, several employees noted an internal message that Musk, who considers himself to be a champion of free speech, has appeared to express disdain for the use of gender pronouns. We know that he has caused harm to workers, the trans community, women, and others with less power in the world. One employee asked, how are we going to reconcile this decision with our values? Does innovation trump humanity? Okay. When Musk was still going to join the board, Agrawal said he would hold a town hall with Musk so employees could ask him questions. Adding to Twitter's employees' consternation, a takeover bid came in the middle of the company's focus week, when it reduces unnecessary meetings to give employees time to concentrate on their projects, following a day of rest on Monday when everyone gets off. I can't do it. That's all I got. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. They call him a playground bully, fanboy lackeys, all this different stuff. Humiliation. Tesla's factory in the Bay Area has been dogged with accusations of worker mistreatment, labor rights violations, racism, sexual harassment. Hosts more than 20,000 workers. Oh, so he's got 20,000 workers in one place. And yeah, and you're judging him. Cool. Yeah, and breathe. What were you saying, Vanessa? LOL. I saw the please. Yeah, talking about a bunch of vaginas. I'm glad I have, right? This is not the era for it. All right. So that's what I got on Elon. If there's any questions, I'll keep an eye on that. I'm gonna tell you, Joe Rogan. If you have the opportunity to ever see Joe Rogan, he was brilliant. But Kill Tony. Now I'm going to be a fan of his show. Tony, the main guy, his team was pretty funny too. There's an Asian guy that was pretty funny as well. He's like, in Texas, you guys, I believe, refer to me as Chinese. And then he goes, I come from the province of the Chinese province of South Korea. That's pretty good. They all were very irreverent. You could not take your phones out. Yeah, they were all locked away. It was brilliant. One time I questioned Elon's decision when he dated her. Well, he also was able to get out of it, which means he was somehow smarter than Johnny Depp. No, he was, he was brilliant. Then there was the Tony guy that was even funnier. I mean, they did jokes. There was nothing left unturned, and they constantly said, this is why we keep your phones away. And it was so refreshing to realize that we still have people in this country that have a sense of humor and are willing to just let go and just be like, F it. I'm going to say what it is, why we can't say certain words, and then saying why you should be able to say it once in a while. God, it was absolutely brilliant. Who's Johnny? Hi, John. Who's John? Was that the Asian dude? I don't know his name. Pont. It's always something. I don't know. I'm just looking at comments. Anyways, it was brilliant. So please watch it if you can. Go to one of the shows. And the crowd there was also, everybody was a big fan of not the Patriot shirt, but the Unvied Lives Matter. It was our kind of people. It was good stuff. All right. Let's see. Again, I'm looking for questions in that comment. Oh, Johnny Depp. Oh, Johnny. Hi, John. Got it. Yeah, Johnny Depp is, first off, for those of you watching the actual trial, which I can only watch a little bit because I don't think it's important. I do think it's interesting, but I don't think it's important. I don't have that much time, but I'll watch little bits and pieces. Why Does Johnny Depp take so incredibly long to tell a story? Every time. It's not like he's thinking, like, it is every time. And it makes it seem a little not genuine to me. But it yeah, it's the guy's out there, and I think from what I've seen, Amber Heard is a horrific person. She's like Jada Pinkett times like 3. But watching Johnny Depp give testimony is painful from all the drugs. I know he's like changed his accent over the years. He's from Kentucky. It's also super weird. Joe Rogan was great. Loan forgiveness. So I was listening to radio out here in Texas because I shattered my phone today. I got a new phone, and in the meantime, I couldn't listen to Sirius, so I had to listen to 820 out here outside of Dallas, and they were talking about how the predominance of American voters currently believes in loan forgiveness. Yeah, that includes some conservatives. To me, like, this is one of my biggest FUs to people that did not. I think that this is the most ridiculous thing on the planet. I've always been a supporter of getting rid of, if they want to fix some of the debt that people are in. Um, I'm okay with loan forgiveness for interest. Get rid of the interest rates for it. I'm good with that. There's a lot of people who put themselves too much debt, and the system is against them. It's hard to pay off. It makes it almost impossible. Great. To forgive student loan debt, and I'll never forget, and this is my philosophy too, as somebody that paid off all $40,000 of my loans, which I know is low. There's some people are hundreds of thousands of dollars. As somebody that did that, and it's kind of like, okay, so now that's going to cause an inflation issue. I'm going to be paying then twice. So essentially, I'm not only just, I already paid for mine, but I'm paying for somebody else's. But there was a guy that went up to Elizabeth Warren, and she was, on the campaign trail, and it was a dad, and he just blew up at her, and he said, so you want to get rid of student loan debt? You've got the families that took on student loan debt because they could. And he's like, I chose to pay for my daughter's education to the point where I never got the new boat. We never got to do things to the house. We never got to do improvements, etc. Yet I saw Jim and Jill across the street that were buying up these amazing boats, doing these, enjoying vacations yearly. And I never did that because I was responsible and I wanted to pay for that for my child. And you're going to tell me that you're going to forgive the debt of those people that didn't earn it. I think it's absolutely insane that this is a consideration to get rid of and forgive student loan debt, and it's a mass issue. They're not just looking like, well, maybe for some people, because there's already been billions of dollars forgiven already during the Biden administration for various reasons. I do think there's certain reasons. If you're joining the military, there's certain ways of getting rid of debt or lowering debt, but to do a loan forgiveness is the ultimate FU to anything in responsibility. It's like the last stand that we have for us to look at ourselves as responsible of taking accountability. It's not like we didn't know. If it was like, oh, there were some hidden fees in there, like I thought I was taking 20,000 out and poof, it's 130,000. That's different. These were, here is what you are taking out. Here is your loan. Here is your rate. And then here's how many years you're going to pay it off. It sucks. You can pay it off early. You got to fight for it. You got to work hard, et cetera. But this is your loan. Sign here. And then us to say, you know what? Let's stimulate the economy. Let's screw over those that paid it off. It's so backwards. And this is one topic that I will go toe to toe with anybody. And I want you to look me in the face. And you think that if you think that this is fair because you get to have money taken away from what you owe, tell me that you're a pansy without telling me you're a pansy, and tell me that you don't take accountability for your actions. So am I tired, Vanessa? No, I'm trying to be a little bit quiet because I don't know. I mean, these seem like good walls, but it's still college and I'm in a study room. So let's see. Let's see if there are any questions. Paid off kids loans, gonna be pissed. Yeah, exactly. Boom. Vagines. Good terminology. Exactly. Yeah. What, if you want to simulate the economy, like make it fair. Anybody that buys it, everybody gets a free car. Cool. Then everybody gets a free car. Like it's so incredibly pointless. At least they took an education with them. Problem is current education sucks so friggin' terribly that who knows? So your daughter's student loan is being paid on, and it's yeah. So you've been paying it for a while. I mean, maybe she can get 10,000, 20,000. It's There is a community, speaking of this, there's a community that's giving and I read about it. It's somewhere in California, I believe. God, where was it? I just read it and I wanted to actually get into it. And this is part of Woketopia. They're giving every trans individual $900 a month, I believe, just to be trans. No question asked. This is where we've come as a country. Let's see. I want a free car. Yeah, hell yeah. What did John say? Years of narcissistic abuse. I don't know where we were at. Anyways, that was I think that Jamie is referring to in the comment box. The what would be the trans thing. I could look it up. You know what? That's what we're doing here tonight. I got about 5-10 more minutes. Is there any other things I was going to talk about? Loan forgiveness, Woketopia. This is part of Woketopia. Let's be so woke to let people get free shit. Trans people getting $900. No questions asked. Let me see if I can find it. Palm Springs, California. California City. This is a National Review. So I'd have to double check it. But according to National Review, California City approves pilot program to give trans and non-binary residents up to $900 per month. City of Palm Springs, California recently granted $200,000 to 2 nonprofit groups looking to design a pilot program. So it was 2 groups to offer a universal basic income of up to $900, so up to $900 per month to transgender and non-binary Palm Springs residents who meet a poverty threshold. Okay, so this is now granting essentially homeless people to just above homeless who are now going to be celebrated for 2 things. Celebrated for them not having enough money. So you're celebrating being poor. It's the welfare system. And then you're also going to celebrate people that are going to, in some ways, if you can get $900 a month and you're super poor, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I am also transgender. So it's a free $900. And if you're in a part of California, you probably can go up the street and get your free crack kit from the government. This is absurd. So city council members voted unanimously last week to pay DAP Health and Queer of the company $200,000 to design the program and apply for state funding. The 6-month design phase is the first of 3 phases outlined in a city report to implement the proposed project. Jesus. The proposed pilot program would see 20 transgender and non-binary Palm Springs residents receiving the taxpayer-funded UBI for 18 months. This is according to Fox News. It would also include a second group of 20 transgender non-binary people who would not receive the UBI and would serve as the control group. So they're treating homeless-ish, poverty-stricken transgenders and non-binaries. They're seeing how impactful giving $900 from the government. This is a science experiment to them using taxpayer money on funding transgender poor people. I don't think I have to explain how absolutely absurd this is. How do they? That's how, right? You can identify as whatever. I mean, there's a guy with a penis swimming with women. There's a cyclist that's got to shift his nuts to one side that's competing on an international level. Yeah, I heard about this too. That actually is a good t-shirt right there. Can the woke just go the fuck back to sleep? No, it's gotten crazy. And I was listening to Dave Landau on the Steven Crowder show, and he was talking about, he's like, I don't care for trans. I don't either. I agree. I don't care what you do with your body or how you feel as you're an adult. Don't affect children. Don't allow them to put puberty blockers and chemical castration on children until they have fully developed. Like, don't allow parents to even make that decision. Like, it's just stupid. Wait for somebody to be of a certain age. If you don't want to deem it 18, if you want to deem it 16, like, set that. Like, let people develop before they get to a certain point. They can still dress like a girl if they want to do it. Just let them get to a point where they can formulate their brain. And you know what? If you decide you want to be a woman and you're a male, more power to you. You be who you want to be. I don't have a judgment on that. But when it's a forced celebration and when it has to be into sports and different stuff, because, well, it just seems like no, it's not the right thing to do. And people keep, and I feel even some of the most brilliant right-wing pundits, when they're asked the question, they don't know how properly answer. When people are like, well, where would you expect transgenders to compete then? Where are they going to compete? They do the same thing that a male athlete like me that isn't good enough to play at a high level does. It's called, you play in intramurals, or you play in adult wood bat baseball leagues, or you go into a rec swimming league. If you're not good enough to compete with what you have, then you still get to participate. It's not like oh, you're transgender. Sorry, conservatives believe you should never compete in sports again. No, we have to realize you don't get to compete at the highest level. Just because I close my eyes and I think that I can throw 100 miles per hour and I want to be a professional baseball player doesn't mean that all of a sudden I just miraculously can do that. That's not the way life works. And I think getting people to understand about that would be, I don't get it. And don't use taxpayer money. Exactly. Yeah, I saw that too. Jesus. Basically, exactly. Oh man, I am tired. If you want the honest truth, that's just more with life than anything else. Bum bum bum. Yeah, it's like, how do normal families, like normal Christian families, normal human beings, just have conversations with their kids anymore? Like, and the don't say gay bill is another one. Like, and maybe I'll end on this. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. But like, I just want to say, I believe that the left can have their arguments and we can have a discussion and ultimately like just be willing to have the conversation. But for those that are intelligent, I see a lot of intelligent people, especially, I mean, the politicians that are doing it are just, they're snake oil salesmen. But when you look at intelligent human beings that are still using the phrase "don't say gay bill" because they're too fucking lazy to go read the 8-page bill that has nothing to do with "don't say gay." I don't know what to do anymore. Like, these are the people, like, I'm not going to call a leftist stupid. I'm not going to call them ignorant. I'm going to say, let's be willing to have a conversation, because I think your mindset is incorrect. I think it's false. But, and I can articulate why. In terms of the people that are still saying the "don't say gay" bill, that are smart, shame on you, because this is as stupid and as big of propaganda as it humanly gets. And love that Disney is now no longer getting protected status. And I love that all of a sudden, oh man, Grant, can you come on? Can I give you the link? Can you please, God, come on? You would make my night if you would actually have a conversation. What is the "don't say gay" bill? In my view, it's a parental rights bill, and it's also saying that no sexuality will be talked about. And I've even seen some of my leftist friends that are like, I mean, I don't think any kids should be talking about this at a young age, like before third grade. Cross the line, you're not supposed to say the gay word, the G word. So in my view, it's parental rights, because if you read it, which I don't know if you're smart enough to read, Grant. I've never been sure of that. So if you read it, and I have a feeling that this might be somebody that I know. I think it might be Shane, now that I realize I started getting other hateful messages someplace else. It literally just says that you can't talk about sexuality to kids. Now, people are inflating it to this concept that if you have a kid that seems to be gay and dressing differently in third grade, that he's not allowed, or second grade or third grade, he's not allowed to do that. That's not it at all. And if a kid sees that and wants to ask a question, they are allowed to have a conversation. Tracking notification. Is that addressed or ignored? So we don't talk up to third grade? No, we don't talk about it. And how should we address if some people have gay parents? Well, they can go home and ask their parents, and their parents have the freedom to tell them what they want to say. If they could say, well, Tim and Jerry, they're Johnny's parents, and they're two men married to each other. You leave that to the parents up to third grade. I don't think that's asking for much. It's just in schools, and all the teacher has to say back is, if it comes up, first off, the teacher can't be the one that starts the conversation. If a student asks a question, the bill doesn't say anywhere that the teacher can't say, "Well, Johnny's got two dads, and that's just the way everybody's different. Go home to your parents, and they can explain more." That's it. It's so simple, but yet somehow it's been conflated to this completely different message. How could they ask their parents if they don't even know because they can't talk about it in school? Well, then they're going to find out about it later in life. They're allowed to talk about it in school. Kids aren't going to get sent to detention because they brought up that Timmy and Tommy have gay parents. They're not. That's not anywhere in the bill. It's literally saying they can't teach about it. They can't show videos about homosexuality, or they can't show videos about sexuality. It's across the board. It's a completely made up terminology. Grant, I know you haven't read the bill. And the fact that you always grasp on this makes me also realize you are the same person that has also been harassing my personal page, which I completely have, by the way, sent to ignore. So if you've spent a lot of time there, have fun. And I believe as though this is, again, Shane's 37th name to try to get in. It took me a while to realize that it was you, Shane. But all the issues with the Don't Say Gay bill, makes sense. So I get it. I get that it's you. That's probably why you won't come off on a video. Whereas Grant, he is on one of the YouTube pages. He's on probably the other YouTube. I don't know which one. I don't even think sexual videos are being taught to third graders. Well, clearly they are, because that is the issue of this bill, and people are freaking out. And the other part of it is that parents have a right to know what's going on with their child. Read it. Read the fucking bill, Grant. It's not that hard. If you're not Shane, then maybe it's not. Well, there's one other guy that I can almost guarantee is Shane. Do I have any examples? I'm going to let you read the bill, Grant. I know that you've come on here. We've talked about the same thing. The fact that you don't have the ability to have this conversation from a normal human being, sensible, common sense. Yeah, you're clearly not a parent, Grant. I don't think you understand what goes on in public school districts. But parents already know exactly what is being taught. No, they don't. And when it comes to sexuality, a lot of them are learning what has been added to the curriculum in the last decade, and it's not pleasant. I mean, examples of sexuality in the third grade. Huh? That's kind of the point, is it shouldn't even come up. But the fact that they have to just make sure there's a bill that says they're not, it shouldn't come up until high school anyways. If parents don't know, that's their own fault. Yeah, you're definitely not a parent at all. Grant, can I send you the link? Can I post the link for you to come in here? I'm saying, maybe I don't understand what you're saying because you're not articulating it well, which is par for the course for you. So Grant, I'm going to give you the invite. Now, please, nobody else, because I really don't want to be here on here much longer unless Grant comes on. This is a bill that it's not clearly it is an existent problem, because this also is essentially a perfect example, a teacher that is ultra non-binary and super sexual on the homosexual side. Because guess what? A heterosexual teacher isn't going to go talking about like, hey, I just banged the hell out of my husband last night. Like, it's just not what it is. But gay teachers come in talking about leading sexuality first. And if they lead sexuality first, that's what it's a lot. And that's probably why they're deeming this a Don't Say Gay bill, because you don't have to say that to heterosexual people. Like, they don't have to come in and drop that bomb. So I posted this up there. Please, guys, don't click on the link. This is specific. I can explain that one too, why they banned math books for CRT, because they used references in the math books utilizing Common Core for one, and then also critical race theory, by essentially pitting races against each other in the mathematical problems. That is how indoctrinating our education has become. And do I have an example to pull up on the screen? No. Right now, I do not, but I was listening on the radio when they were reading through some of the examples on these books, and it's mind-boggling how they would fit that in there. Surprise, only one book publisher allowed to sell math books in Florida. Okay, there's more than just one book publisher in Florida that I know. Can't talk about that to third graders. Let's see. Grant, you're invited. I'm going to give you 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to end the live. Here, Brent can explain it. Grant, he is a parent. About up to a year ago, I thought I knew, but COVID made me become more involved, and now I know. Kids don't come home and tell parents every single thing they were taught. Thank you. All but one publisher got banned. I'll look it up. By the way, there's a link for you to come in. Florida rejects several math textbooks. One publisher, the only publisher approved by Santis for mathematics. Sorry. Let's repeat on curriculum transparency bill. Now, the only publisher approved by Ron DeSantis in the Florida Department, Accelerate Learning, a company out of Houston, Texas. So they're not a Florida company, they're Houston, Texas. And the subject area as large as mathematics for grade K through 5 is unusual for there to only be one publisher to choose from, said the superintendent for Leon County Schools. Florida nixes dozens of math textbooks. They rejected more than 50. So apparently this book publisher makes 60% of the math textbooks already out there. So I don't know how many. I used to date a girl years ago that was into textbooks, and there was only about 4 or 5 major players. So there may have only been 2 or 3, and he cut it down to 1 to better articulate or answer that question. He was a campaign donor out of Houston. It's a Houston-based company, so that would probably go against that statement. But who knows? Maybe it was. But if you can find that research, that's complete hearsay without that. So go ahead and give it a go. One last time, Grant. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. There's your StreamYard, buddy. There's your StreamYard. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. I'm giving you 2 more minutes. I know you're not going to join, but I'm going to give it a shot. What's up, Case? Speaking of hearsay, where's all your examples? Well, there's a huge difference. And again, I know that you're not intelligent enough to know what hearsay is. Hearsay is something like this. You said, I would be willing to bet he was a campaign donor. That's something you can easily look up and reference. Whereas mine, I'm just telling you that there was a lot of references and being very specific to what I had heard and what can be easily pulled up, and you can find the references on your own. The campaign donor thing is a complete, by the way, it's donor, not donator. But again, I'm never surprised by your intelligence. This is something that you're literally just throwing off the top of your head. I actually heard the references as they were reading through them, and it was shocking to me. You are just guessing based on your bias and your lack of intelligence. 2 very different things. No, I'm about to be done, Case. I mean, you're a troll. I'm attacking your intelligence because you don't have any. It's not like I'm just doing what I feel like is right. And I'm saying that I actually heard them. There's the difference, and that's why it's called hearsay. Like yours is hearsay because you're guessing. I'm literally saying that I heard the references. Jesus Christ. There was one that I heard that was regarding it was literally placing 2 different individuals of 2 different races and finding a way that they did things like the old train train questions. Like if they were to arrive at 6:30, whatever it was, it actually it managed to pit races against each other. Grant, you're just so dumb. Biden has more intelligence. Who, me? Leonard, I apologize. But what you don't know about Grant is he trolls every show that we do without ever being willing to come have a conversation. So this is a historical problem with Grant. This isn't the first time he comes on and trolls, and he continuously has the dumbest arguments known to mankind, to the point where he said, I bet he's a donor. He could be a donor. I don't know. But again, he never has any real information. He literally just comes on to poke and prod at our shows that we do. So that's why I attack his intelligence, because he isn't willing to ever have a live conversation. He's been invited so many times, I can't count. Anything else? I have an idea for a next show. Wink, wink. Grand probably works. No, it's not. A dissenting opinion actually is being willing to have a conversation instead of trolling a comment box without ever. You've never brought a fact. Never, 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 never. We have shows that are lined with facts. And when you hear a fact you don't like, you say, prove it. And we try to prove it and we give a reference. You're like, I don't like that reference. And then if we don't, do your own research on a lot of these things. Because even if I provide you with something, it's not enough. I don't want an echo chamber. I'm literally asking you to come on, have a conversation. Like, this is, to Leonard, this is why I call him an idiot. Because literally an echo chamber would not be inviting him to have a conversation. I'm not kicking him out of the group. Bum, bum, bum. I've seen, how have I ever treated him like, literally we've had people from the opposing side. Some of them are still friends. Jay Kennedy, I still talk to him quite a bit. He still wants to be on the show. He just can't do Tuesdays. Yosra thoroughly enjoys the show. The only one that like literally got huffy puffy was that Nicholson guy. And literally he never had, he's a really smart guy because I've known him. Robert, I think is his name. And that's the problem. And this isn't a show like this. I'm literally just chatting at night. If this would be, there's only me. I don't have the rest of the crew here. It would literally be just you and I, but you're not willing to do it. He did. That was a one, and I took the time to research it and I showed that. But just know that the math, because this is a math thing, when it says that 60% of the books were approved, 40% were rejected, that probably means there's not a ton of publishers to choose from. So again, this is a straw man argument. That's what that's called, because you're not realizing it sounds really bad because, oh my God, there's only one publisher approved, but there might only be, and I don't know, there might only be 3 publishers that do these books. How many math publishers? That's a great question. How many math publishers? And by the way, I do look up a lot of Grant's facts when he puts them, which is that one was the first time he put a fact that I could even look up. How many math publishers, math book publishers? Biggest educational publishers. See, McGraw-Hill is one of them. I don't know which one they chose. I'm not looking at the comments right now, so I don't know if they're commenting. Big 3. There's a big 3 publisher. There you go. So it is the big, there is 3 main publishers. So 2 were rejected, 1 was kept. There we go. The answer is that question. Wasn't that hard to find? So 1 of 3. Again, if you just say there's only 1 allowed, it sounds really bad. When you realize there's only 3, it's a little bit different. I never said all you do is lie. I said all you do is troll. There's a huge difference. I miss Cash as well. Bum, bum, bum. All right. We ended up going almost an hour. I'm glad that you and Leonard could be friends. It's my dad's name. I did. I'm just showing the fact that I did look it up. That was, the rare occasion. Yeah, free market, 66% of competition. Oh my God. Okay. It's like Mitch. Listening to Mitch have the argument with Anomaly the other day was painful because it's like Anomaly kept proving him wrong, but Mitch wasn't smart enough to realize that he had just been proved wrong. Oh, okay. All right, guys. I'm going to go to bed. God bless. Godspeed. If you like our gear, go to wakenotwokestore.com. And this is where everybody that hates us and on the left, we're grifting, even though we sell like one t-shirt a day at best. Wakenotwokestore.com. Use Awake for 20% off, 15% off. Are they eliminated? Because they had CRT in their fucking textbooks. Grant.